Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Papagei English, and this is the second part of our seventh session. In this part, we're going to talk about summary completion questions. Now, before starting the course, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and if you like this video, please like it and leave your comments. All of them will help me to improve the quality of my work. Now, let's start our today's session. Okay, summary completion questions. Summary completion questions could appear in the two forms. Sometimes you just need to, just like this one, read a part of the text and choose keywords and complete the text. And in the second form, you have to choose some keywords and then paraphrase, and you have several options, and you need to paraphrase in order to find the correct answer. These kinds of summary completion questions are a little bit challenging and more time consuming compared with the previous one. In today's session, we're going to discuss both of them. Okay, now let me turn on my pen. Another important point I just want to mention in this session is that we will select our sets of questions based on what the questions are. Okay, we will talk about that in our final session, but in this session, just focus on summary completion questions. Okay. As usual, the first thing we're going to do is just to look at the title of our passage, okay? It's about Eastern Island. We have answered some questions related to this passage, and in today's session, we're going to answer to some summary completion questions, okay? Now, let's go to our questions. And the first thing we're going to do is to read the instructions carefully. Choose one word only from the passage for each answer, okay? Our word limit is one word, and we have to choose only one word. Okay, it's about Jared Diamond's views. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna look in the passage is to find the diamonds. Okay, now let's just read first sentence of this summary paragraph. Diamond believes that the Polynesian settlers under Punuai destroyed its forest, cutting down its trees for fuel and clearing land for, okay, cutting down its trees for fuel and clearing land for. Okay, now let's go back to our passage and look for the diamond. Okay. Oh, you just need to scheme and scan and find the passage, because diamond is scientist and easy to find. We will use the scanning technique in order to find the diamond. Okay, now let's start. Now let's go to the second paragraph. Okay. US scientists shared diamond beliefs. And of course, because we've answered some questions related to this passage, it would be easy to find the names of scientists. But I just want to show you that you can even scan and find the relevant part of the text in order to answer the questions. Okay, now let's read around this keyword carefully. Diamond believes that Rapuni people, descendants of Polynesian settlers, wrecked their own environment. Okay, they had unfortunately settled on an extremely fragile island, dry, cold, and too remote to be properly fertilized by wind-blown volcanic ash. When the islanders cleared, okay, we have the cleared the forests for firewood and farming, the forests didn't grow back. Okay, we have cleared, and we had a word fuel. Fuel could be paraphrased with firewood, and farming is our answer for question 29. As you see, we have cutting down its trees for fuel and clearing land for farming. Okay, this is our answer for 21. Transfer this answer to your answer sheet. Okay, now let's go back to our second question. 20th century's discoveries of pollen proved that Rapuni Nui had once been covered in palm forests, which had turned into grassland by the time the Europeans arrived on the island. When the islanders were no longer able to build, they needed to go fishing. They began using the islands as a food source. Okay, we're gonna look for question 23, something as a food source, and also they build something. Okay, now let's find these two questions. The forests didn't grow back. As trees became scarce and they could no longer construct. Construct could be paraphrased with build. Wooden canoes. Okay, canoes is our answer. For fishing, they ate birds. Okay, and as a food source, they ate birds. We found answers for the question 22 and 23. This is 22 and this is 23. Okay, let's go to our last question. Diamond also claims that the Moai were built to show the power of island chieftains and the methods of transporting the statues needed not only a great number of people but also a great deal of if you remember, our second paragraph was about the dominance of power by building statues, and it was a diamond viewpoint. Now let's look at this paragraph and find our answer. It required a great deal of people and also, okay, Diamond interprets them as power displays by rival chieftains who, trapped on a remote little island, lacked other ways of asserting their dominance. They competed by building ever bigger figures. Diamond thinks they laid the Moai on wooden sledges, hauled over log rails, but that required both a lot of food and a lot of people. A great number of people. We have people, but also a great deal of wood. Wood is our answer for question 24. Okay. As you see, summary completion questions are just like as sentence completion questions, and whenever we have a title is going to help us to answer the questions. And if we answer some questions depending on the other questions, even it would be easy and time saving for us. Now we finished this example. But remember that sometimes your summary paragraph might not have a paragraph. In this case, just read the first sentence of your summary paragraph and then choose your keywords and then look for the related part of the text in order to find the answers. Okay, now let's go to our second example. And this is reading passage 3 and neurostatics. Okay, we know our topic. Now let's go to our summary paragraph. Complete the summary using the list of words A to H. Write the correct letters A to H in boxes 31 to 33 on your answer sheet. Art and brain. This is our title. This time it's a little bit more challenging and time consuming because after finding the relevant part of the text and our keywords and our answers for these questions, we need to paraphrase them and choose our answers from this box. Okay, now let's just read the first sentence of the summary paragraph. The discipline of neurostatics aims to bring scientific study objectivity to a study of art. Okay? Neurological studies of the brain, for example, demonstrate the impact which impressionist paintings have on our... Okay, now let's go back to our passage. An emergent discipline called neurostatics is seeking to bring scientific objectivity to the study of art. This is our first sentence and also our first sentence in our summary paragraph. As I told you before starting answering the reading questions, we should read the title and some sentence of each paragraph in order to have an idea of where we should look for our answers. Okay, now let's continue. We are in the right place and has already given us a better understanding of many masterpieces. The blurred imagery of impressionist paintings, we have impressionist paintings seem to stimulate the brain's amygdala, for instance. Since the amygdala plays a crucial role in our feelings, that finding might explain why many people find these pieces so moving. Okay, let's go back to our which impressionist paintings have on our... Okay, we have impressionist paintings seems to stimulate the brain's amygdala. It doesn't matter if you don't know what this word means. For instance, since it's a part of brain, plays a crucial role in our feelings. So feelings is our answer. Okay, now let's go back to our questions and paraphrase feelings. Feelings could be paraphrased with interpretation, movement, concern, complexity, skill, images, emotions, and layout. And of course, that one is easy to answer. Feelings could be paraphrased with emotions. And be careful that you need to transfer C to your answer sheet. Some people confuse and write emotions in their answer sheet, and that would be incorrect, and you're gonna lose a mark. So be careful that just act based on the instructions and transfer C to your answer sheet. Now let's go to the second question. Alex of the University of Liverpool believes many artists give their works the precise degree of which most appeals to the viewer's brain. Okay, Alex is our keyword, and we're gonna scan and look for Alex and read these scientist viewpoints carefully in order to answer. And also, our second keyword is a precise degree of something which most appeals to the viewer's brain. Okay, now let's go back to our passage. Okay, as far as I remember in our previous sessions, we found Alex in in this paragraph. In another experiment, Alex Forsyth of the University of Liverpool analyzed the visual intricacy. Okay, visual intricacy. Intricate could be paraphrased with complex. Okay, intricacy of different pieces of art. That's our keyword, and her results suggest that many artists use a key level of details to please brain. Okay, they use a key level of details to please brain. Now let's continue. Too little and the work is boring, but too much results in a kind of perceptual overload, according to Fawcett. What's more, appealing pieces, both abstract and representational, show signs of fractals, repeated motifs recurring in different scales. Fractals are common throughout nature, for example, in the shapes of mountain peaks or the branches of trees. Okay, as you see, we need to go back to our question. Alex Fawcett of the University of Liverpool believes many artists give their works the precise degree of which most appeals to viewers' brain. Okay, precise degree of something. Okay, now let's go back to our paragraph. Alex Forsyth of the University of Liverpool analyzed the visual intricacy of different pieces of art, and her results suggest that many artists use a key level of detail to please brain. Okay, key level of detail. Key level of detail, and again, Alex studies the visual intricacy of different pieces of art in order to reach to this conclusion that artists use a key level of detail. So that's a little bit challenging and conceptual question to answer, but because Alex studied the intricacy of different pieces of art in order to find that artists use a key level of detail to please the brain, we can conclude that we should look for something to do with complexity. But there is other way to answer this question as well. Now let's check other options. Can we use a layout for this question 32? Of course not. It has nothing to do with our question in this context, or interpretation, or movements. We have nothing about movements, or concern, or images, or even a skill. And as a result, complexity is our best choice for question 32. Now let's continue. She also observes that plays and works of art often contain certain repeated is important, which occur frequently in the natural world. Repeated something that which occur frequently in the natural world. Now let's go back to our paragraph. Fractals are common throughout nature. Okay, they are common throughout nature. For example, in the shapes of mountain. Okay, in the shapes of mountain or the branches of trees. It's possible that our visual system, which evolved in the great outdoors, finds it easier to process such patterns. Now, Let's go a little bit back. What's more, peel and pieces, balls, abstract and representational, show signs of fractals. Okay. Repeated motifs. Okay. We have the word repeated. Repeated motifs recurring in different scales. Recurring in different scales, and these different scales are, for example, in the shapes of mountain peaks or the branches of trees. Okay, so in the shapes of mountain trees or branches of trees could be paraphrased with repeated images. Our answer is H. Scale has nothing to do with mountain peaks or movements, interpretation, concern, or layout. The question 32 and 33 were challenging questions, but if your general English is good, you can paraphrase and understand the concept of a question. Okay, we answered this question as well. As you see, these questions could be a little bit more time consuming because after finding our answers, we need to paraphrase them. And sometimes you have to paraphrase, for example, the words, for example, emotions with feelings. But sometimes it might be challenging and you have to paraphrase the concept and summarize the concept in a single word, just like as question 32 and 33. Okay, now let me turn off my pen as well. That's the end of session 7. I hope it would be useful for you. If you like this video, please like it, and if you have any question, you can ask your questions in the comment sections. I will answer your questions. See you in the next session. Goodbye.